Hello and welcome to another vlog. There's been a bit of a delay since the last video because... Anyway, let's take a look at some miniatures I've painted recently. Okay, first up here is Clan Rat with Sword number 4. Or, as he is known in Advanced Hero Quest, Prasnagar, the Prince of Agony. And although I am running games based on the quest for the Shattered Amulet from Advanced Hero Quest, I will not be using this model as the Demon Prince Prasnagar because, well, as you can see next to Hlekiar here, he's a little small by today's standards, and I don't think he would quite work as a Demon General. But I'll probably use him as like Clan Rat Champion. Obviously with the spikes mutation, works quite well for that. Not much to talk about with this one really. Stock model, didn't do any conversion work, and the paint job's not particularly interesting either. It's just my standard Skaven paint job. But it's a nice old model and one I like having in my collection. This is my Warp Fire Thrower team, consisting of Warp Fire Thrower Gunner number 1 and Warp Fire Thrower Fuel Carrier number 2. Interestingly, although my old Skaven army book lists this figure as Gunner 1 and this figure as Fuel Carrier 2, my Skaven Collector's Guide lists this as the only Fuel Carrier, and completely neglects to mention this Fuel Carrier figure here. Okay, maybe that isn't interesting. I love this guy's droopy hood nearly completely covering his face. These old models had a lot of nice character to them back then. Yeah, came out really well. Also, rather like the details on the tanks of fuel he's carrying there. Nothing particularly special about the paint jobs on these guys, but I think it came out nicely. Also, me putting that green hood over the metal helmet / mask he's wearing kind of reminds me of Doctor Doom. So, that's a thing. Here's Hlekiar for scale. And this is my Poisoned Wind Globadier. The backpack was missing from this, so I made my own one out of a Warlock Flamer backpack. And some other bits, just to sort of, well, give them a backpack really. Again, quite pleased with the paint job on this one. Yeah, not much else to say really. I think the glowing effect on the globe came out rather nice. Got this cool little ratty gas mask on there, I love that. Here's Hlekiar for scale. I swear he's in there somewhere, I think. Another fine addition to my Ratman forces. I'm kind of aiming to have all the specialist Skaven from Advanced Hero Quest. You've already seen my Night Runners and Gutter Runners in a previous video. And you've just seen my Poisoned Wind Globadier and my Warp Fire Thrower team. Now I'm just looking to get hold of a Gizelle, the guys with Gizelle. Here's my Warlock-engineer. He is converted from a Mantic Veermen, that's their sci-fi Ratman range, and a few other bits, including the left arm holding the staff is a Plague Monk arm. Made the head of the staff out of, I think it's an axe head from a Warlord Games Orc, and bits for a pipe set there, and some wire to make the wire that joins it to his backpack there. A little bit of green stuff work done to that shoulder to make it match the sleeve of the Plague Monk arm on the other side there. I kept the sci-fi gun and painted it up as a more sort of arcane steampunk kind of device. I assume it fires warp lightning. Here's Fleckjar for suffering. I mean scale. I mean suffering. Lots of nice details on this mini. I particularly like little scraps of cloth stitched together there to make his clothes. And the tubes on his armour look rather nice as well. Of course, it's actually supposed to be some kind of spacesuit, but painted up right, it looks kind of arcane and steampunk, which is the sort of thing you want for the Skaven. Overall, I rather like this mini. I'm quite pleased with how all the green glowing bits came out. Despite mentioning Warlock-engineers, Advanced Hero Quest lists a Clan Scryer Warp Weaver, but I thought Warlock-engineer would be more appropriate. Also, the model they used for the picture is clearly a Plague Monk. And I've also painted up 3 reinforcements for my basic clan rats. This is the Skaven from my 3rd edition Talisman set, but with the shield from an Advanced Hero Quest Skaven, because the shield that came with him looked a bit too fancy for my liking. Otherwise, he's completely stock and there's not much else to say about him. Talking of completely stock, here's a completely unaltered Advanced Hero Quest Skaven, because I thought I might as well have at least one that's not been converted. And here's a converted Advanced Hero Quest Skaven with the head and shield from the very old plastic Warhammer Regiment Skaven. Very pleased with how this guy came out, considering the amount of conversion work I had to do to get that head to fit. Although he has ended up wearing 2 hoods at once because of that. Here, once again for scale, is Fleckjar. My Warlock-engineer is going to see use in the quest for the 4th and final piece of the Shattered Amulet, the Amber Room. And this particular quest calls for a rotating room. Here's the original cardboard one, and this is my version of it. Let's take a closer look at some of the pieces. So here's the main rotating room itself. This is actually made from a CD, see on the underneath here, and a bit of a CD box to make it rotate. The walls are cardboard, covered with lots and lots and lots of various size coffee stirrers to give it that nice plank effect. The floor is also made of coffee stirrers, and to keep it interesting, I made it with little holes which you can see gears underneath through to make it look nice and mechanical. The underneath looks a bit of a mess, but you can see where I've made little hollows under the floor to put the gears in. These gears are either decorative bits out of the craft shop or ones I've got out of broken toys. Here's some work in progress photos for you. The support girders are made from bits of fake Lego with those adhesive pearls added on top to make the big rivets, and the little riveted panel down there is part of a model railway bridge. The skull is from Raupatha Europe. The detailing around the door here is made from matchsticks and some cable tie pieces. I made the pedestal with the amber block on it removable, in the hopes that I'd be able to reuse the room at a later date for something else. The amber block is rather obviously made from an old D6. And the pedestal itself is made from a Mantic Kings of War base, an old Warhammer base, bits for model railway, some cable ties, and of course some more coffee stirrers, all glued round a little cube of wood. Again, I used those adhesive pearls to make the big rivets on top there. The big gears on these corner pieces came out of a printer that got broken.
I said I got this, none of this radio pop shit. I dropped this, turning back the clock to rock shit. I cop it, to knock knock, I'm on this. I'm hot bitch, like a hot bitch, the top I lock in, I got this, radio drop this. Hot shit, just watch this, I fucking promise. Too lit, do not miss your chance to cop this. Will you capture it, or just let it slip? Oh shit, I wanna be in, cause my rap is tight. No really, they just give a fuck that I ain't black, I'm white. I'm not anyone else, man, I'm one of a kind. So sit back, relax, and listen one more time. I said I got this, none of this radio pop shit. I drop this, turning back the clock to rock shit. I cop it, said knock knock, I'm on this. I'm hot bitch, like a hot bitch, the top lit. And I got this, none of this radio pop shit. I drop this, turning back the clock to rock shit. I cop it, said knock knock, I'm on this. I'm hot bitch, like a hot bitch, the top lit. I love the girls that fuck with my music, getting referrals from the girls love to booze it, party and lose it, that's the life I'm choosing. Not losing, that's my 2 cents, so use it. You know I'm back, as a matter of fact, I'm better than ever, never been better, I know that. I wrote that, sipping on some coke and no jack, could stare and bitch and take a pic, Kodak. I'm threatening the game, cause money and fame, they don't affect my brain, it's fucking all the same.
And they use various bits like an EM4 plastic shield and the connectors from a model railway pipe set to give them a bit more detail. The rolling wheels on these corner pieces were made from little beads, and were of course inspired by the rotating room in the HeroQuest expansion Return of the Witch Lord. Likewise, this little stone weight was inspired by the same piece of art. At the same time as I was working on the rotating room, I was also working on these lift pieces. I'll be using these instead of stairs in my Warlock-engineer's dungeon. The lifts were inspired by the platform lift you see in Quake. So the lift itself is just an old 40mm base with some matchsticks and coffee stirrers stuck to it to make it look like a lift. Obviously I cut a notch out of it as well. Was that worth mentioning? Maybe. The rail here is made from a heavy duty cable tie and some more matches glued to a bit of a lolly stick, and also some ends of lolly sticks I've used here to make a bit to clip it over the back of my walls here like that. The activation button here is made from a bit of fake Lego. I stuck it to a piece from an old railway bridge, surrounded it with some coffee stirrers and stuck it to half a base. This kind of setup of course represents the bottom of a lift shaft, but to represent the top of a lift shaft I placed down a pit trap marker like that, and I've got this little rail here that hooks over the wall just like the longer one. That represents the top of the shaft, and of course depending on where the lift is you can place this at the top or the bottom of the shaft. And here's Flekyar for scale, and I can't think of a feasible way of animating this, so it'll have to be a still image. Sorry. And that's about it for this vlog. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you're subscribed to my channel, like this video. Until next time, I need a goodbye catchphrase.
Next time, with wigs.
Yes, with wigs.
That should be
a nice picture.
Wigs are warm.
Yeah.
Yes.